The curse of Ham is a controversial and often misunderstood biblical narrative found in the book of Genesis, specifically in Genesis 9:20-27. It involves an incident where Noah, after surviving the great flood, plants a vineyard, becomes drunk from its wine, and subsequently curses his son Ham's descendants. Let's explore this narrative in detail, analyze its historical context, interpretations, and implications, and examine the biblical evidence associated with it. Biblical narrative. In Genesis 9:20-27, the story unfolds as follows. After the floodwaters recede and Noah's family exits the ark, Noah plants a vineyard. Noah becomes intoxicated from the wine he produces and lies uncovered in his tent. Ham, one of Noah's sons, sees his father's nakedness and tells his brothers Shem and Japheth about it. Shem and Japheth, respecting their father's dignity, cover him without looking at him. When Noah awakens and learns what has happened, he curses Canaan, Ham's son, declaring that Canaan will be the lowest of slaves to his brothers. Interpretations and controversy. The curse of Ham has been the subject of various interpretations throughout history, often with significant cultural and theological implications. One interpretation suggests that Ham's act of seeing Noah's nakedness and possibly mocking him led to the curse. However, the exact nature of Ham's offense and the reason for Noah's curse are not explicitly stated in the biblical text, leading to differing views among scholars and theologians. Historically, the curse of Ham has been used to justify racial discrimination and slavery, particularly in the context of African enslavement during the transatlantic slave trade. Some proponents of slavery in the 19th century erroneously used the curse to argue that people of African descent were cursed and destined to be servants, based on their supposed descent from Ham. However, such interpretations have been widely criticized and debunked by biblical scholars and theologians, who argue that the curse of Ham is not about race or skin color, but rather about familial relationships and moral behavior. Additionally, the curse is directed at Canaan, Ham's son, rather than at Ham himself, further complicating the racial interpretation. Biblical evidence and analysis. The curse of Ham is primarily found in Genesis 9:20-27. However, it's essential to examine the broader context of the story to understand its significance fully. The narrative of Noah and the flood is part of the larger Genesis account, which details the origins of humanity, the spread of civilizations, and the development of God's covenant with humanity. Genesis 9:20-27 specifically addresses the aftermath of the flood and Noah's actions afterward. Noah's planting of the vineyard and subsequent intoxication highlight his humanity and fallibility despite being a righteous man in God's eyes. The incident with Ham and Noah's curse serve as a cautionary tale about the importance of respecting parental authority and maintaining familial honor. From a biblical perspective, the curse of Ham underscores the consequences of disobedience and disrespect within the family unit. While the exact nature of Ham's offense is not explicitly stated, the narrative emphasizes the importance of honoring parents and maintaining decency and dignity in interpersonal relationships. Furthermore, the curse of Canaan, Ham's son, has been interpreted as a prophetic declaration rather than a divine mandate for slavery or servitude. The subsequent history of the Canaanites, who inhabited the land later promised to the Israelites, reflects their subjugation and displacement, rather than an inherent curse based on racial or ethnic identity. In conclusion, the curse of Ham is a complex biblical narrative that has been subject to various interpretations and controversies throughout history. While it has been misused to justify racial discrimination and slavery, a careful examination of the biblical text and its broader context reveals deeper themes related to familial relationships, obedience, and moral responsibility. As with any biblical passage, it is essential to approach the curse of Ham with sensitivity, discernment, and an understanding of its historical and cultural background. The story of Noah and the curse of Ham is deeply embedded in the broader narrative of Genesis, a book rich in symbolism, allegory, and historical accounts. To understand the curse of Ham fully, it is crucial to consider its place within the larger context of Genesis and the biblical narrative as a whole. Genesis is the first book of the Bible and serves as the foundation for much of biblical theology and interpretation. It begins with the creation story detailing God's creation of the universe, the earth and humanity. The narrative then progresses through various historical accounts, including the stories of Adam and Eve, Cain and Abel, and Noah and the flood. The flood narrative in Genesis chapters 6 to 9 is one of the most well-known and influential stories in the Bible. It recounts God's decision to destroy the earth because of humanity's wickedness and corruption, sparing only Noah and his family, who are chosen to survive the flood aboard an ark. After the floodwaters recede, God makes a covenant with Noah, promising never again to destroy the earth with a flood and establishing the rainbow as a sign of this covenant. The story of Noah's drunkenness and the curse of Ham occurs shortly after the flood, providing a transition from the catastrophic events of the flood to the post-Diluvian world. Noah, portrayed as a righteous and obedient servant of God, plants a vineyard and makes wine, only to become intoxicated and expose himself in his tent. This incident reveals Noah's vulnerability in humanity, reminding readers that even the most righteous individuals are subject to weakness and sin. Ham's reaction to his father's nakedness has been the subject of much speculation and debate among biblical scholars. The text simply states that Ham saw his father's nakedness and told his brothers about it, Genesis 9:22. While the exact nature of Ham's offense is not explicitly described, ancient Jewish tradition interpreted this action as a form of disrespect or impropriety toward Noah, possibly involving a sexual connotation or mockery. In contrast, Shem and Japheth, upon hearing of their father's condition, respond with reverence and discretion, covering Noah's nakedness without looking at him. Their actions demonstrate honor and respect for their father's dignity, highlighting the importance of filial piety and moral integrity within the family unit. Noah's response to the incident is swift and decisive. Upon learning of what has transpired, he pronounces a curse upon Canaan, Ham's son, declaring that he will be a servant of servants to his brothers, Genesis 9:25. This curse is significant not only for its severity, but also for its implications regarding the future descendants of Canaan and their relationship with the other nations. The curse of Canaan has been interpreted in various ways throughout history. Some scholars suggest that it reflects the subjugation of the Canaanite people by the Israelites during their conquest of the Promised Land. Others view it as a prophetic declaration of the eventual downfall of the Canaanite civilization, which occurred centuries later with the rise of the Israelite monarchy. However, it's essential to note that the curse of Canaan is distinct from the curse of Ham. While Ham is involved in the incident, it is his son Canaan who bears the brunt of the curse. This distinction has led some scholars to question whether the curse was directed specifically at Canaan, or if it symbolically represented the fate of Ham's descendants as a whole. The curse of Ham has had far-reaching consequences throughout history, particularly in the context of race and slavery. During the era of European colonization and the transatlantic slave trade, the curse was invoked to justify the enslavement of African peoples, with some interpreting it as divine sanction for the subjugation of black individuals, based on their supposed descent from Ham. However, this interpretation has been widely discredited by biblical scholars and theologians, who argue that the curse of Ham is not about race or ethnicity, but rather about moral behavior and familial relationships. The curse was directed at Canaan, not at Ham or his other descendants, and its significance lies in its broader theological and moral implications rather than its racial connotations. In conclusion, the curse of Ham is a complex and enigmatic biblical narrative that has sparked debate and controversy for centuries. While its exact meaning and significance remain open to interpretation, the story serves as a cautionary tale about the importance of respect, obedience, and moral integrity within the family unit. As with any biblical passage, it is essential to approach the curse of Ham with humility, discernment, and a willingness to engage with its historical, cultural, and theological context. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the timeless tales of the Bible. We hope you found inspiration and wisdom in these stories that have shaped civilizations and touched hearts for centuries. If you enjoyed this video and found value in the message, please consider giving it a thumbs up, sharing it with friends and family, and subscribing to our channel for more enlightening content. Remember, each story carries within it a lesson to guide us on our own spiritual journeys, so let's continue to explore the depths of Scripture together. Until next time, may peace and blessings be upon you.